Hi there again. I'm Matt Gibson, the President and CEO of the Kentucky Derby Festival, and we're back with Thunder Thursday and some questions that have been sent to us from our online pals. And boy, did we get a lot of them this week. Okay, our first question we're going to take today is from Dorothy Godbert Mitchell, and she asks, when will the Thunder theme be announced and the airshow acts? Also, who is the television sponsor this year? So WDRB will be our television partner this year. They are a fantastic partner and they put a lot of effort into it to make sure that even the people at home have as great of an experience as the folks who come down to the show. February 12th at 10 a.m. we will be live streaming and announcing to all of our local media partners the theme for the show this year as well. So stay tuned. It's going to be a great one and we know that people are going to love it. So our second question comes from Eric Drawdy. How do you become a Thundernator? I will tell you that's probably one of the most common questions I've gotten in my 20 years. I know other team members here talk about it. Wayne Hettinger talks about it a lot. That's actually a great question. Over the last number of years, we've made that accessible to everybody who would want to buy a Kentucky Lottery ticket. And starting on Monday, February 3rd, anyone can participate for a chance to become the Thundernator. And I can tell you it's an amazing experience. You can imagine the energy and excitement that's up in the command center that day, and especially right before the fireworks start, you can hear the launch command, you can feel the energy from the crowd, and you actually get to be a part of the show. So folks can get a chance to win that opportunity for the Festival Fanatic game. And it starts again on Monday, February 3rd. All you have to do is go to the Kentucky Lottery or at any outlet that sells Kentucky Lottery products, and the game is actually called Fast Play for your chance to become the Thundernator. Great question. Our third question comes from Kevin Hicks, and he asks, isn't it time for a heavy metal Thunder? I'll even make the soundtrack, he offers. We get a lot of feedback on the soundtrack, and you can imagine if there are 800,000 folks who attend that show on some years, that everybody has some input that they'd like to hear. We have not done a heavy metal Thunder. I could tell you that it would probably translate very well to a very high impact show like Thunder over Louisville where you could feel it, and we always take consideration. I would say that there has been heavy metal elements to the show because we look for music when Bob Ernspiker and Wayne Hettinger sit down and really put their fingers into the soundtrack. It is amazing to see what they look for in different musical pieces, including the power of the piece of music. And as you start to listen to things, you'll hear their transitions and where they find the boom and that whole emotional piece. And I would imagine that heavy metal would really lend itself to it. So we'll always keep that in consideration. If you've got some songs that you'd like to share, feel free to send them to our page or contact us and make suggestions. We get them all year long. So great question. The last question that we're going to do today is from Chuck Perkins. And he says or asks, we know that there have been issues with weather over the years. High floodwaters. Outside of those circumstances, has there ever been another reason or a close call to having to cancel Thunder? Maybe something behind the scenes. Producing a show like this outside in Kentucky in the spring always presents challenges. And the one that comes to mind the most was the year that they were nearing completion of the Kennedy Bridge. And it wasn't necessarily the bridge, but the cranes that they were using to construct it. We were required to put flags on the bridge themselves, or on the cranes themselves, and the Ohio came up so fast overnight that prevented us from doing it. Fast forward, after sitting down and brainstorming with a lot of our partners like KYTC and the bridge builders, our partners in Louisville Fire and Rescue actually volunteered to access the cranes in high waters and use it as a training exercise and climb to the top of each one of the two cranes and put very distinct flight flags on the front and the back of each crane. Had we not been able to accomplish that, or Louisville Fire didn't step in and help us make that happen, we would have not been able to have an air show that year based on the river rising. So it really goes to show you there's so many people at play that help us put this show on, and so many things that happen behind the scenes, and really what makes this job fun, because there's a new challenge every single year. Great question, Chuck.